What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another lift session with Ketchup VII. Today I'm going to take you through my legs and arms routine. So I decided to incorporate here a day during the week where I'm focusing mainly on my weak points. And my weak points when it comes to my physique are my legs. Although some people will say that that's one of my strong points, I still look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, man, these legs got to grow. We got to make all kinds of gains here. And also my arms, guys. So it's very important that you guys do prioritize bringing up your weak points in order to develop a more symmetrical overall physique. Okay, so the way that I constructed this workout was I started off with legs, mainly because legs is the biggest muscle group, biggest body part of the body anatomically, and also because it takes up the most amount of energy, and you wanna prioritize exercises, guys, that will consume the most amount of your energy at the beginning of your workout rather than at the end. So I started off this workout with 4 sets of about 10 to 12 reps of a front squat, guys. That's another thing that I want to discuss in this video is the importance of exercise rotation. So when I say exercise rotation, what that means, guys, is that I'm rotating through exercises once every 6 to 8 weeks. So it's very important, guys, if you guys don't want to stay stagnant in seeing results. If you guys, let's say you guys have been training hard for, let's say, 3 to 4 months, and in the beginning, with your program, no matter what program you were following, you were seeing results, guys. Like, let's say you were following a push-pull legs routine, and you were benching, you were doing all those big main compound lifts, and you were seeing results. And then all of a sudden, you kept going to the gym, your gym routine didn't stop, but your results stopped. That's because your body is getting used to that stress stimulant that's being put on it. So the importance of exercise rotation is you're still hitting those muscle groups, but with different kinds of exercises. So, for example, maybe you guys have stuck with a traditional back squat, so a regular barbell back squat for, let's just say 3 months. Time to, change it up a little bit. So whether or not you want to go ahead and hit a goblet dumbbell squat, or even better, a barbell front squat, it's very important, guys, that you're incorporating different exercises in your routine to break plateaus. So then the second exercise that I did here in my routine for this legs and arms workout is a barbell stiff-legged deadlift. And I hit 4 sets of about 10 to 12 reps where I'm really squeezing those glutes at the top. And then the third exercise, guys, which is another thing that I really wanted to talk about, is the importance of unilateral training in your program. So when I say unilateral training, I mean training one muscle group or one side of the body at a time in order for both sides of the body to grow equally. So instead of doing a traditional 2-legged leg press, I decided to go ahead and do a 1-legged leg press. So I did 4 sets of a 1-legged leg press for 10 to 12 reps each leg, where I'm really focusing, guys, on that contraction of the hamstring. Notice how I say hamstring and I'm not saying quad. Reason being is because if you look at that footage over, my tippy toe is almost like sticking partially out of the leg press pad. And the reason being is because I really wanted to target my glutes and my hamstrings rather than my quads. Because then the fourth exercise of the day, which you're seeing here, again, another great unilateral movement. Why do a 2-legged leg extension when you can go ahead and focus on a 1-legged leg extension? Reason being, guys, is because I want equal symmetrical quads as opposed to, let's say, my right quad overpowering and growing more than my left quad. So that's why, guys, it's very, very, very important that you guys are prioritizing at least one unilateral movement in your exercise routine for that particular day. I don't care if you're hitting a push day, a pull day, or a leg day, or just a one body part a day traditional bodybuilder split. It's very important that you're incorporating one unilateral movement in each one of your routines in order for your body to grow symmetrically and equally on either side. Then on the 5th exercise for the day, what I ended up doing here was the gym that I was training at had a hack squat. And again, guys, I can't stress it enough. the importance of exercise rotation. During this quarantine, I've had the blessing of having access to a private gym. However, in that private gym, I was limited to equipment, and I only realistically had a few dumbbells, barbells, and some cables. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm eternally and extremely blessed for having that. I wasn't able to have, like machines, like even a leg extension, for example, or a hack squat that I was used to, that I had access to prior to quarantine. So this gym that I trained at on this particular day had that hack squat. Because I hadn't done it in 4 months, what did I do? I decided to get rid of one of the exercises that I had been focusing on for months on end. Because of quarantine and because of the fact that I didn't have access to, let's say, a hack squat machine, I got rid of that exercise and I simply swapped it with a hack squat. And again, guys, after this particular day, for some reason, I was so sore. And the reason being is because of DOMS. So DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness. And what that simply means, guys, in the most briefest sense, is that when your body is not used to a stress stimulant that you're putting on it, it will have to work double as hard in order to endure that stress stimulant, which means more muscle fibers will break, equaling more requiring more recovery, essentially. And your body's going to fill with lactic acid. Your muscles are going to fill with lactic acid, guys. So again, I think I explained this in the last video. If you guys were following any kind of routine, I don't care about how much volume was in that particular routine. If you guys were following something 4 months ago, do not, and I beg you guys, do not go back into the gym thinking in your mind that you are going to be able to handle that amount of volume, because your body has not endured that much volume in months. So to put yourself in that kind of environment, you are really, really, really putting yourself in a very vulnerable position for injury. So again, take a step back, work back up to that volume, work back up to handling that routine, that workout routine. So then after that hack squat, what I ended up doing was I ended up performing a lying leg curl. And again, guys, I'm going to go back to it because the topic of this video is exercise rotation. Right down to the fact that I had not incorporated a legs and arms day in about a year. In about a year's time. So my body was absolutely destroyed after this particular day, even though I did not hit as much. There was not as much volume when it came to the emphasis of arms and the emphasis of legs within the whole legs and arms day on this particular day. I was still sore. Why? Because working on legs and working on arms in the same day, my body wasn't used to that. So it was absolutely taxed, guys. So then again, going back to the exercise I was going to mention, that lying leg curl, I was in the gym that I was working out of during quarantine. I had access to dumbbells, right? So I ended up performing 4 months worth of a lying dumbbell leg curl. And I didn't have access to a lying machine leg curl. So when I went ahead and I ended up trying to perform the same amount of weight that I was doing before quarantine, when I did have access on this particular day to a lying machine leg curl, my hamstrings were absolutely toast. And the reason being, guys, is again, don't put yourself in a vulnerable state where you could get injured because your body's not used to that stress stimulant. So you don't want to overbear it with overloaded stress. Work back up to it. So just to give you an example, before quarantine, I was able to perform 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps with a 2-second partial squeeze and partial hold at the top of the movement, with about 125 pounds worth of weight on a particular leg curl machine, pardon me. And on this particular day, I had to scale that all the way back to 95 pounds. And I'm humble enough to say it. Why? Because I don't want to put my body in a vulnerable position to get injured. So again, take a step back, guys. Reflect. It's not worth the injury. You guys were already without the gym for 4 months. Why risk injury and then have to forego another like 2-3 months in order to recover, right? Like, train smart, guys. Train hard, but train smart. So then I always have to learn because I'm still new with these videos, guys. I've only been really uploading realistically now for a month, and I've been loving it. But I do have to, I'm still learning as I go, right? Like I'm, for people that know me as a person, I love to talk. So I need to focus more on talking about the actual workout than going on a tangent. But I feel like I have so much to say to you guys. I have so much content that I want to share with you. There's so much that's happening behind the scenes. I'm so excited to bring forth and bring into fruition and show you guys that it's like every video I'm talking about bicep curls, for example, and then all of a sudden I'm talking about exercise rotation, and all of a sudden I'm talking about the clothing line. Everything's falling into place, guys. So, I can't believe I'm going to do this again, but, starting next video, I'm strictly going to talk about the workouts. I'm going to talk about the workout at hand. The workouts will still be in the description box. But there is one last thing that I want to say, guys. With the gyms opening up, there's been a couple of instances in this past week where I've come across people that have told me that they're giving up. That they give up on their physique goals, and that apparently they've let themselves go over quarantine. Guys, I don't want you guys to think just because you haven't worked out in 4 months that it's basically a sentence, a definite sentence of I can no longer achieve this goal that I had in mind prior to quarantine. I want you guys to always look at an obstacle as another opportunity. Because when one door closes, guys, 2 doors open, actually. In all actuality, 2 doors open. One door is calling for a character building journey where you're going to actually reach your goal and more. And the other door is the way out, the easy way out, where you're going to give into the temptation of looking at all the negative aspects and all of the hardships that you're going to have to endure now in order to get to that particular goal. And the amount of people that I come across that just settle for that, don't settle, guys. Take ownership of what you want in life and go after it. It doesn't matter if there's nobody on your team. It doesn't matter if no one's cheering for you. It doesn't matter how hard the journey may seem along the way. Stay focused. Do you, and I promise you guys, you have the power to change the narrative of your life, and you're going to get everything that you've ever wanted and more. So guys, with the gyms opening up, train as hard as you can. It doesn't matter if you only have an hour a day to train. Think of it as, this is an hour today that I didn't have yesterday. This is an hour in the gym today that I didn't have access to even a minute in a gym for the last 4 months. Look at it as an opportunity. Look at it as, okay, let's say you're still not working right now and you only have an hour to train in that particular day. Get accustomed to only needing an hour to train in order to fit your other lifestyle needs when you do get a job, when your life does go back to somewhat of a norm. That way you do build a different and more well-rounded character that you can place your hands into different avenues where you're not only focusing on your physique. You can focus on your physique and focus on your job. Why? Because you have time for everything now. So guys, the purpose of this talk is put yourself out there, step out of your comfort zone, and I promise you, it may be difficult for the first little bit. I won't lie to you. It may be the most difficult thing that you've ever endured. But I'm telling you, at the end of that journey is a world that you'll never want to go back to your old life ever. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this workout. If you like this workout, I would really appreciate a thumbs up in the description box down below. Lots more content that's coming, guys. I'm telling you, there's so much that's planned right now in the sense of when the merch is coming and when launch is going to happen. It's going to roughly happen hopefully by the end of 2020, depending on how this whole coronavirus situation goes. But guys, again, stay humble, change the narrative of your own life, take ownership of your goals, and let's catch up to the best version of ourselves. I will see you in the next video, guys. Loving every second of this.